Hi guys, my name is John. Welcome back to my channel. My channel's name is CC Guy CHI. So welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new and this is your first time here. I've been a lover of luxury my entire life since I left the hospital in a Gucci sailor outfit with matching horsebit loafers, and a lover of YouTube for the last 10 years. So I kind of brought them together and created this channel. So again, welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. I like to cover everything from luxury, the business of luxury, styling, fashion, and kind of what's going on in the world of fashion. And of course, we're always going to throw in a couple unboxings and a couple hauls to show you as well too. So if you haven't already and you like what I'm doing, please feel free to like this video and then subscribe below, and also hit the bell notifications so that way when I upload new content, which is usually every Monday and every Thursday, you get a notification and you can watch right away. Also, feel free to subscribe, because if you do, that means that you don't have a problem with luxury, and more importantly, I don't have a problem with luxury either, and we can kind of just both keep doing what we're doing and not ask any questions. So today I wanted to do a little bit of a combined and collective haul here for you. These are things that I picked up over the last couple weeks, and it is going to span things from my personal collection, and then as you can see, things behind me here for my vintage collection. These things all have been previously opened by me, so none of these are true unboxings. I was going to have one, but unfortunately the post office has not delivered that item in time, so oh well, we'll do it another time because I have more coming. So, sorry about that. You know, like when you watch all these other videos and people are like, oh my god, like doing YouTube has just made me shop so much more. I'm like, but like, what if you've always shopped that much from the beginning? Enough waxing on about that. Let's get started. So, the first thing I want to show you is from Chanel. And the box is a little screwed up, but I picked these guys up from my essay at the boutique in Chicago. I actually ended up going with a client of mine who is also one of my really good friends, and she got something and I got something too. So let's go ahead and unbox them here together. It is a pair of shoes, so Chanel dust bags are included. And these guys were originally from the Spring-Summer 2019 collection, so Chanel by the Beach. And what I got was a pair of Chanel sneakers. Now, I am no stranger when it comes to Chanel sneakers. I will openly tell you, and as you can see from the background over here, my favorite collection from Chanel was the 2014 Supermarket collection. And when that collection started, I got a bit crazy, and I bought as many of those sneakers as I could find in my size, and I am still on the hunt to find even more of them. And a couple of them I've unfortunately trashed beyond recognition, and my cobbler started laughing when I asked him if they could be fixed. So, since I've learned my lesson, I'm back in the saddle and looking to collect more. But those guys are super fabulous, tweed, like over-the-top, amazing kind of fantasy shoes. And these guys are 900 times more practical. So these guys are made in a really beautiful gray calfskin. They feature these super cool laces that say Chanel over them. There is a Chanel tab and then also a little CC tab on the back. And just in case you forgot that they were Chanel, they also do indeed say Chanel on the back. Not that you can really see right now because my camera's blowing out. And then the bottom of the sole has a CC as well. I've worn these 3 times so far, and they are insanely comfortable. I mean, like out of this world comfortable. I wanted a pair in gray. I have seen them in black, I've seen them in salmon, I've seen them in brown, I've seen them in leather, and I've seen them in suede. And I remembered seeing gray leather somewhere. I just couldn't remember where it was. Luckily for me, I was in Chanel and asked my essay about them, and she said, oh yeah. And I said, oh, well, do you have a size? And she said, oh yeah, which doesn't happen all that often because I wear anywhere from a 41 to a 42 in women's Chanel, so when you got the big old sizes, you gotta go quick. So 9 times out of 10, I walk into either the Chanel boutique or I walk into Neiman Marcus, and it's sale time, and I'm looking at new stuff because the new stuff just dropped, and there's going to be one pair of 41s or 42s out there, so I gotta make decisions quickly. So it's exciting that these were actually sitting there waiting for me. The other thing about these guys too, if I can find them in time, which it does not look like I can, they also come with a pair of all white laces as well too, so I can change up the look. Initially, I was a little hesitant in terms of adapting kind of into this trend. Again, I have those like super crazy tweed ones, which I absolutely love. But again, there's so much more of a statement versus just kind of like a neutral thing you throw on the end of the sentence. So ironically, it was one of my clients the one who went with me, who ended up pushing me to get these. And she was right. So just because I'm a professional at this doesn't mean that I always know what's going on. I'm also a person and also need to be pushed sometimes to make decisions, even if ironically they're gray, black, and white. So these have been so great. The 3 times I've worn them with jeans. They look really, really, really nice. They cap off a look beautifully. And I also have a gray Chanel double flap that's vintage that has silver hardware that looks really cute with them too if I want to do like a whole matching look. So thank you to my good friend and client for talking me into those, as well as my SA at Chanel, who has not led me wrong yet. Next thing I want to show you has been previously featured in a video, but she is still new to me and I am very excited to show her to you, and that is this lady. So this guy is my first reissue that I've ever had in my collection. I always started with classics and wanted a purple bag because my goal was to collect the rainbow, and here she is. So this guy is the Chanel 2.55 in the 227 size. So that's going to be the equivalent of a jumbo if you're talking classic. It is in a beautiful purple and then features a lighter purple in stitching. And then she has the ruthenium hardware. I loved this bag the second that I saw it and knew that I had to have it. I wanted a jersey bag since Chanel initially made the original 2.55 in jersey when it was originally released in February of 1955. So I said to myself that one day I was definitely going to get one, and I wanted to get a 255 and I wanted to get jersey. Well, congratulations, I hit 2 out of the park there. The other thing that I love about this bag too is the fact that it is a double flap. I know it's very controversial, and by controversial I mean not really controversial, but like whatever. A lot of people aren't super big fans of them. I love the double flap. It keeps me incredibly organized. And the nice thing about this guy versus the classic is that the chain is a lot shorter. So when this crossbodies, this hits at a normal crossbody length. It's not like flapping against my kneecap looking slightly ridiculous. And I'm 5'8", so I'm not like tall for a guy, but for a woman I would be like tall. So on the jumbo, it like kind of stresses me out when I see people like flapping down the street and there's like a 4-pound handbag just hitting them. So obviously that was something I wanted to avoid. So I liked that one so much that I got another one. So this guy is also a 2.55, and this is in a metallic goat skin leather or actually I think it's H capital is me. And it is in metallic gold with the antique gold hardware featuring the Mademoiselle chain, which of course was the original chain that Coco Chanel designed for the 2.55. And it is based on the chain that the nuns at the orphanage she grew up around would keep their keys on and wear around their neck. So this guy is originally from the Paris Dubai collection. And a kind of funny story about the Paris Dubai collection is that's actually the first collection that I bought a pair of Chanel shoes from ever. And they're a really great loafer. I'll show them to you sometime when it comes to me doing my Chanel video for my shoes. I'm just going to have to find something big enough, unfortunately, to have all these shoes here for you, so I'm not leading myself in my own little CrossFit collection and class there when it comes to bending over and getting my shoes for you. But this is this guy. She is also in the 227 size. So she's going to be in the jumbo size for you. My camera is blowing out because the metallic, of course, is stressing my poor thing out. But I love this guy. At first I thought it was really extra. I got this guy at auction, and I decided that it would be a bag that I would most likely carry just when my fiance and I go to the opera, go out for dinner, that kind of a thing. But it's actually been a lot of fun to style. I've worn it twice so far. And I've worn it with Chanel jackets that have matching gold buttons, particularly in black. And then, ironically, I wore this blouse, which I'm wearing right now, which is black and gold. And then I also wore a matching pair of shoes with it one time that were black and that had gold CCs on them. So it's a really cool kind of like monochromatic look, and then this was like, you know, the ta-da, or like the icing on the cake. So that guy I absolutely love. If you don't have a reissue in your collection yet, I would highly recommend getting one. It is the original bag that Coco designed, so for those of us Chanel freaks out here, it's important to have one there in your corner. And I would also 100,000,000% recommend these sneakers. If you have an SA, contact your SA, see what colors they come in, and if they can get them for you. If I am your SA, please feel free to call me, and I will be more than happy to let you know what colors they come in. You know, if I buy it and I wear it and I love it, that means it's going to be the same thing for you too. So again, can't recommend those enough, can't recommend reissues enough. So off the subject of Chanel, although there is more coming, I figured I would walk you guys through a couple vintage pieces that I've added into my collection. So I have 3 pieces here for you. One arrived last week, and then 2 arrived just 2 days ago. So these are all newbies. They've all been photographed. One's already been put on my Instagram. I'm sure by the time I post this video, the other 2 will have as well. But in terms of YouTube, I figured doing a little vintage unboxing would be fun. So I have actually taken them out of the boxes, properly steamed them, all those kinds of things. And then as soon as I'm done recording this video, I am going to go ahead and properly archivally store them. I figured one day we'll do a video on that, so that way you can kind of see how I'm keeping everything and how these pieces that I hope one day end up in a museum can be properly stored to live with me, so that way they will be nice enough that they can be taken out. So we'll just go left to right. So the first piece I want to show you here is a vintage dress, kind of, I guess I would call like a T-length kind of dress, and this is from Salon Moderne at Saks Fifth Avenue. So this dress was originally created for Mrs. R.H. Morris in 1957. That was the day she picked the dress up from the salon, and I was lucky enough to purchase this from a descendant of Mrs. R.H. Morris. And when I purchased it, I told her that I promised I was going to take good care of it and that it was going to be loved and appreciated, and figured the first great way to do that was to feature her here on YouTube. So the craftsmanship on this guy is absolutely stunning. It's this really beautiful kind of anthracite gunmetal gray, and then you can see the beautifully handcrafted covered buttons, and of course the beading and embroidery is out of this world. The bottom has all of these really cool godets with silk chiffon that are coming out, and then of course interspersed between the godets is all of that embroidery. It's a 3/4 sleeve, and it's absolutely stunning. I've turned this guy inside out as much as possible, and I can tell you the quality is that of the haute couture pieces that I have in my collection. So a little background on Salon Moderne and Sophie of Saks, if you're not familiar with her. So Sophie Gimbel originally started working for Saks Fifth Avenue in 1929. She was hired as a stylist and then hired to take over the Salon Moderne in Saks Fifth Avenue. So the salon was actually a place where the very up-and-coming designers of the day were showcased. Now, of course, the irony is that a lot of these up-and-coming designers are now some of the names that we know and that we love. Elsa Schiaparelli, Coco Chanel, eventually Christian Dior, Jean Patou, all of these major designers who made the 20th century for fashion were all housed within the Salon Moderne. Now, those brands were carried there, and then eventually Sophie started designing her own in-house label that was then marketed within the salon as well, too. Fun fact about Sophie, she got the last name Gimbel because she ended up marrying Mr. Gimbel, who was in charge of Saks Fifth Avenue. So not only was she running her own department, but she was married to the boss, which is really cool. So she is a very important part of Saks history. And in 1947, she was actually featured on the cover of Time magazine, which is huge for someone that works in a department store. And she also brought culottes to the US, which is super cool. So I just sold a couple pairs of those to a few clients. So there you go. Thank you, Sophie Gimbel. And she also helped popularize the new look within the USA. So we have a lot to be very thankful for, besides something that's just like absolutely stunning, that gets to live on my mannequin for photos for Instagram, one day in a museum, and soon enough here in a couple hours in an acid-free box. But the quality of her pieces are absolutely stunning. I have one other piece that's originally from 1947, and it's this black and white lace ball gown, and I'm telling you, you could stick that next to like my Givenchy haute couture gown, and it's just as good. And this guy has 1, 2 layers of silk chiffon, and then the base under is this really cool, if I can get to it, kind of iridescent brown purple gray, which gives this really cool rich depth to the gray so it doesn't read as flat. But I absolutely love this. With the correct underpinning, it would be absolutely stunning, not vulgar any in the least. That was actually quite the opposite of Sophie's mission. The next piece I would like to show you is from the 1930s. And this piece is from the house of Jean Patou. Patou started designing in 1912, and he passed away in 1936. But Patou is credited as one of the largest designers of the 1920s. Typically, the two names that you hear the most are going to be Elsa Schiaparelli and Coco Chanel. I would say, obviously, they definitely made the most in terms of inroads, but Patou was absolutely there as well, too. So this guy, Patou. The other thing to know about Patou as well was, of course, he was the original designer, but some very big names ended up working at the House of Patou. Karl Lagerfeld was there. Marc Bohan, before he went to Dior, was at Patou. And then, actually, I got those confused. It would be Bohan first, then Lagerfeld. And then Jean-Paul Gaultier was the designer at Patou before finally moving into haute couture himself. And of course, the most recent designer, while the house was still active in terms of haute couture, was my favorite, Christian Lacroix. So the House of Patou has had a very long and very storied career. This guy I purchased online, and it's actually a two-piecer. So this guy, the label, sorry I couldn't show you the Sophie of Saxe one, but it's like all the way up in there. This is Jean Patou adaptation. So before I get more into this dress, I'll give you a quick breakdown on adaptations. So during the early 1900s, so we're talking 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, there, and 60s I guess as well too, there was a whole system called the adaptation or license model system that was exhibited and shown throughout department stores in the United States of America. So what would happen is a buyer for a major department store would go to Patou, go to Dior, go to Chanel, go to the show, and then they would end up paying a licensing fee to the house, in this case, Jean Patou, and they would pay a license to then reproduce the models for their own customers at their specific store. This guy doesn't have the particular department store label inside of it, but I do have a couple examples. Like you'll see there was one from Gimbel's, there was one, I have one other one as well too that is from, oh my god, this is going to drive me absolutely crazy. I want to say it was iMagnet. And so what would happen is that prospective retailer, go to the show, pay money, they would buy the full haute couture work at the sample size, and then they would take it back to their prospective department stores, to their tailor shops. Their tailor shops would take everything apart, put it back together, and then sell it to their customers at varying price points. So the ones that would have the actual labels inside of them are going to be those higher end pieces for you because, again, it bears the designer's name. So this piece from Patou was originally seen in a couture collection in the 1930s and then taken back to wherever it was taken from and then recreated for their customers. So again, she's two pieces. The sleeve is absolutely exquisite, and you can see the stunning detail here on the sleeve. So the floral design is a little bit more dropped in the front, and then as the wearer turns back, it's going to stop right at the elbow, which I think is a really beautiful detail. And then across the back, we have some really simple stitching, and again, some beautiful floral detail here. So that is the jacket. This is done in a beautiful silk crepe, and this is the dress. The thing I love about this dress is that there are pieces on my floor, literally as we speak right now, that if you change the fabric, it could be the exact same dress that we're selling from certain brands right now. I love how simple and architectural this dress is. So you can see the way that the seaming is done, which again definitely gives me vibes of the 30s, because I'm getting a little bit of the carryover from Art Deco. I'm getting a little bit of Bauhaus there. So again, there is that slightly architectural detail that I absolutely adore. We also have the matching stitching on the back that corresponds with the jacket. And then these two absolutely beautiful mother of pearl buttons. These things weigh a lot, so they're fabulous. And then there is also a belt that matches as well too, that's also been done in mother of pearl. I love this. I think it's so cool. It's 90 years old. In a decade, she'll be 100. I consider it a true honor to have pieces that are this old and in this fabulous condition, that have so many stories to tell and so many different things for us to think about. How people like me, who works in a department store, how different things are now, where we wholesale directly from the brand and it just poof, it appears and there it is. And the final piece that I want to share with you today is from my main man, Pierre Cardin, who has rapidly become a very large part of my collection. Hello, my light is blowing out here. This is a Pierre Cardin haute couture dress from the 1980s. This is done in a really beautiful wool crepe. It features some incredible hand stitching, which of course you can't see, so it's black. And this really cool detail here on the side. So that way, I'm going to wave again, so hopefully my camera stops blowing out. You can see the detailing here. Excuse me. The coolest thing with this is that everything here, in terms of the backing, is leather. And then this thread is all hand applied on. So I have a dress from the Italian brand Tiziani Roma, which is a really good example of this beautiful surface design in terms of creating texture just by thread. And this is another fabulous example, because I think if this piece was missing, it would just look like a very normal black dress, which is great. Couture is fabulous. Couture lasts forever. That's what it's about. But having this detail and then also taking the extra second to say, oh yeah, this was all literally sewn by hand on top of leather into a dress. That is a really, really, really cool, a cool detail. And this guy is actually a surface embroidery. And then of course it's fully lined in black silk, and all hand finished on the inside. This is the label, which is white, so it's going to be impossible to see, but it says Pierre Cardin Paris. And I just love Cardin. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that he stands for the future, and I think the future is something we're all thinking about a lot right now. And I love the way that he saw the future, and he still sees the future. And I feel like it's just something really important we can hold on to right now. And knowing that there is a future, and it's going to be cool, and it's going to be different, and it's going to look a little different, but it's also going to be familiar at the same time too. So I feel like sociologically that's something I really appreciate from Cardin as well too. So thank you for sticking in here with me for these almost 24 minutes, good God. And I hope you like this video. If you do, please feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe, tell your friends. Let's start a community here. I'm also going to leave a link at the bottom with my Instagram account information. Please feel free to follow. I post a lot of things that I put in my archive there, and a lot of things that I haven't talked about so far. And I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.